Good morning, everyone. I hope you're having a good day. I have a super cute project for you today. I'm just making sure I have my sound and my cameras on. So you know how I love to work with Hershey's candy, and today I'm working with Hershey's Nuggets. And this a little project reminds me a little bit about the pansy pots I did last year, but it's different because the pansy pots used a Ferrero Rocher, and this one uses nuggets. And I really like it. Cacti are so cute, and you can build your cactus however you want. It really doesn't matter, but I'm going to show you how to create the planter, how to create the little stem, how to create the potting soil, and it's kind of a very cute design. Here's one of them that I made. So cute, right? And you can see the cactus here is right in the center of the pot. I'm going to show you how to do that and make it and finish it really sweetly. This thing would make a cute little favor, a little gift. You know how sometimes nowadays when you go to visit someone at like a hospital, I know that certain hospitals don't allow you to bring fresh flowers in, like certain wards don't allow you to bring fresh flowers in. So something like this that's made out of paper that doesn't have a scent to it is really cute. And you can make them in a set of 3 and they're just super cute. I'll show you all of them in just a moment. So I have my February host code up at the top. If you don't already have the Cactus Cuties bundle, you will need it for this project. And if you want to place your order with me, please use the host code up above. And if you spend just a little bit more than just getting the bundle, get some evening evergreen cardstock. That's the color I use, or the ink pad. I have all my supplies listed down below. But if you get up to at least $50, then you're also going to get a celebration reward, and you're going to get rewarded with me because I send out a gift when you place a $50 order with me. And this month it is some kind of a rhinestone jewels. They're going to be available. Next month they are a new product. Okay, I am going to switch my little camera and go over, oh, and I haven't even told you about my free with purchase tutorial. This February tutorial is this cute little Hershey's bee, and you can choose this one or one of the other 80 tutorials that I have. And this one, all you need to do is spend $15 to choose a free tutorial from my paid tutorial collection. So I just wanted to show that out. This little guy is so cute, perfect for the coming spring. Okay, let me flip over here. I'm gonna have to pop these on their sides so that you can see them right here. So these are the little cacti that I made, and like I said, you can decorate them up however you want. This one is made with a punch, so it is like a jointed cactus, so you can make it as big or as little as you want. This is just using one of the little things, or you can just keep going. And I just made them as a matching set, but you could change out the florals on them as well. Okay, I'm going to push these guys back here. And this is the bundle right here. It's called Cactus Cuties. Isn't it? It's so cute. So here are the 2 pieces of the cactus, and here's the flower. And here's also a pot that you can use, but I did not incorporate that into my design. I tried, but it just didn't work out, and I ended up liking it much more without it. So, but when you're making cards with this bundle, you've got different pots to put. There's a plant, and then there's a second cactus. I'm going to show you how to do both of these little cactus. And of course, I have a project sheet for you that I will send out on Saturday, but you need to be part of my email list to get it. So make sure that you subscribe. The link is down below. If you're already a subscriber, you will get it sometime on Saturday. Okay, let me set this aside, and we're going to start off by making the planter. I like to use my Simply Scored scoring board, and you can also use your trimmer, but it's much faster. I work with both the trimmer and the scoring board. So the scoring board comes with a nice little stylus tool, so it makes it really easy to score. And we're going to start off with a piece of 5 1/4 inch by 2 1/8 inch piece of cardstock. And we'll put the long side up at the top, and we'll score at the 1 inch mark, the 2 3/8 inch mark, the 3 3/8 inch mark, and the 4 3/4 inch mark. Then I'm going to turn this piece to the short side, and I'm going to turn it so this end piece is down, but it really doesn't matter in the end, but just so you know how I did it. And then I'll score at the 1 inch mark. So here is the piece that we have. And I want you to take note of one thing. This is 2 1/8 inches wide. So this part from here to here measures 1 1/8 inches. We want to cut into the side that is 1 inch wide. The reason for that is I want the potting soil dipped down just a little bit below the edge of the planter. I think it looks better that way. So this piece from here to here is 1 1/8 inches. So you want to make sure they almost look equal. So that's why I just want to point that out to you. So make sure you're cutting into the 1 inch side. So first we're going to cut away this corner rectangle. It's the small rectangle on the corner. And if you get my project sheet, I'm going to have a diagram for you on there so that you'll be able to see what it looks like cut up. And then we're going to cut up along the score line to that first score intersection here. And again, this is cutting on the 1 inch side of the score line. So we've got all of those pieces right here, and this piece you can throw away. And then we're going to take our bone folder and we're going to fold this piece along the score lines, and the bone folder just helps with the crease of that fold. Okay, so now we have a piece that looks like this. We'll start off by putting adhesive on this short end tab. I like to use Tombow. It holds together everything really well, and a bottle of Tombow is going to go a long way. So I'll just put some Tombow on that end tab. I try not to get too much on there, just enough. And then we're going to bring those two ends together. And just take a moment, make a nice seam right here. You want to make sure that that lines up nicely with that score line, and just hold it for a few seconds. All right, and then I'm going to put these two shorter tabs down first on the bottom, and I'll just put Tombow on both of them. And then I'm going to fold over one of the long sides, and then put Tombow on that, and fold over the other long side. And then turn it around and put your finger in there and just kind of tamp down to make sure everything is nice and solid. So that's all there is to our little planter box, and that's going to hold 2 Hershey's nuggets. Okay, so that's step number 1. Step number 2, we're going to create a nugget wrap. So you're going to need a piece of, I'm going to use evening evergreen cardstock because that's what I'm building my cactus out of. And so this piece measures 4 3/8 inches by 3/4 of an inch. And I'm just going to pop this on my scoring board with the long side up at the top. And I am going to score, let's make sure, oh, I'm going to score at the 1/2 inch mark. And I'm going to score at the 3 7/8 inch mark. Okay, so basically I'm scoring in 1/2 inch from both ends. If you can't wrap your head around the 3 7/8 inch mark, just score in 1/2 inch on both ends like that. All right, then we're going to take this piece and the bone folder, and we're going to curl the center from score line to score line. I'm not going to score all the way to the end, just from score line to score line. Just do this a couple times. This is just going to kind of help create a curve so it doesn't bend. And then you're going to take some Hershey's Nuggets. You're going to need 2 for each planter box. Okay, and the key with this is put your ends, the bottoms, together. Okay, so that's what it looks like. And then you're going to put the top of one of them down. One of the tops goes down, and then this kind of folds back, the tabs fold back. And you want to make sure it's going to be tight, and you want the tab to be centered at the top. Can you see that? So there's the wrap, and those 2 little tabs, they're right up at the top. And then you're just going to put some Tombow on one of them, and you're just going to bring it together. You could theoretically make the little wrap first and then slide the nuggets in, but it's a little tight. So if you do that, it's going to be you're going to have to wiggle those little Hershey's Nuggets in carefully so that you don't pull away the wrapping. So I found it's easier to do it right, wrapping it right on there. And then if you can kind of shift it, you want this little tab right here to be centered. Okay. All right. So then we can set that aside. We've got our box. We've got our Nugget Wrap. And now we're going to create the potting soil insert. And for that, I'm going to need a piece of cardstock. Here it is. This piece is Sahara sand, and it's 2 1/4 inches by 2 inches. Okay. And for this one, we're going to score at the 1/2 inch mark on all 4 sides. So side 1, side 2, 1/2 inch on all 4 sides. Side 3 and side 4. So you get a piece. You can see it, that looks like that. All right, we're going to use our trimmer for a moment. And on this 2 inch side right here, we have a 2 1/4 inch side and we have a 2 inch side. So the shorter of the 2 sides, we're going to put this in our trimmer and we're going to line it up at the 1 inch mark. So there's a 1 inch mark on this side and a 1 inch mark on that side. You're going to center it right there between the 2 1 inch marks right there. Just make sure it's perfectly in the center. Okay. And then we're going to move this cutting piece. We're not going to cut all the way through. We're going to create a little slit in the center, and that's where that little tab right here is going to come up through the center. So the score line is right here, and we're going to just go in a little bit from the score line and just in a little bit from this score line. So we're just going to create a slit in between the 2 score lines in the center. So it's better if you stand up, move this, keep this up, and then you're going to find your place where you're going to come down, and then, you know what, I shifted a little bit. Let me realign this, come down, and then we're going to score or cut, sorry, from there to there. So you can see it's just kind of a centered mark, and it doesn't really matter how long it is. The tab is 3/4 of an inch wide, so you want to make sure it's at least 7/8 to about an inch wide. And so it can go from score line to score line if you want to, but I just try to keep it somewhat centered. I kind of go in a little bit from the score line. All right. So the next thing we're going to do with this piece is we're going to cut away all the corners. And I will have a little diagram in the project sheet to show you what this piece looks like, so that when you're making it, you're going to kind of understand what you're going to do. But you can always refer back to the video afterwards. That's the nice thing about the project sheet. Some of you might be able to do it completely without referring back to the video, but some of you might need to refer back to the video. So you can see there's the little slot, and I like to fold my little tabs along the score line right now because I'm going to emboss this piece, and it's easier to fold first and then emboss. Now, if you don't have an embossing machine, you can just use it just like this, but I want this to look a little bit like that soil, the succulents cactus soil. It's kind of a sandy soil that's put in those types of plants when they're potted. So that's why I chose Sahara sand. And I'm bringing in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And let me grab out all my pieces. So I've got my platform, which is number 1. We're going to need that. I'm going to use the Time Worn Type 3D embossing folder. And this one might be a little bit, why is she using that? I love this kind of texture right here. The one that has not very much print on it. And I'm going to use it right there. And I think that kind of looks like sand or soil. So I'm going to use this embossing folder right on platform labeled 1. I'm going to put my little piece right there. Yeah, that looks good, that lining up. My cardstock goes on the inside. Close the folder. And then there's a plate that comes with your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. It's the number 4 plate, and this one is meant for embossing, thick embossing folders, and that's what this is. It's a 3D embossing folder. So use plate number 4, and then we're going to run this through. And let's have a look and see our results. Okay, you see that? And it looks kind of, I don't know, it looks kind of sandy. There might be a letter or two thrown in there, but I kind of like the look of that. So if you want a different embossing folder, of course you can use a different one, but that just seemed to make a lot of sense to me. So let me pop that away. And let's bring this little piece in. Okay, so I've already folded along the score lines earlier, so they fold really nicely. If you haven't already done that, then make sure you fold along now. You can use those little cutaway corner squares as a guide of kind of where you need to fold. Okay, then we're going to take our little nugget piece, and we're going to insert this little tab up here through our little cut. Okay, kind of situate that. Want it centered. And you're going to tuck in the sides, and then you're going to take your box and, oops, I just slid the one Hershey's Nugget over. Just going to kind of tuck this in. It's a little bit of a tight fit, but that's what you want. You kind of want it, oops, I'm losing my nugget. Okay, so I'm kind of tucking in as I go, the corners, tucking down. Okay, there we go. So that's what it looks like. You can position this piece again. And then the nice thing is that once you've got your cactus built, you can pull this whole piece out. We've got this one here. You can pull it out by the cactus. So that's how you get the nuggets out of there. And then you can tuck it back in afterwards like that. Okay. So this is all ready now for the cactus. So how do I build the cactus? So we're gonna start off, we're gonna build one of each of these. So I love Evening Evergreen as the cactus color. It's nice and dark. And I'm going to stamp it on basic white because I want to see those are supposed to be the little spines of the cactus. So you want to stamp it on a lighter color. And we're going to start off, going to stamp one of these. And let me just grab. And for these ones, I like to use like a skinny strip. Actually, I usually like a little even skinnier strip, and I like to put the top down into that corner. So I'm going to just stamp 2 of these, but you're going to need 1 big one and you're going to need 4 little ones. And so you want to make sure you stamp this one with the bottom down so that you can fit it in right here and punch it. Oop. This went flying. So there is the one little cactus piece. And this one, you like to put it in a corner like this so that you can kind of come down here and punch it out like that. So I would use a piece and I would stamp another one in the corner. And you need 4 of the little ones if you want to make the cactus like mine is, and 1 of the bigger ones. And then for the other one, we don't have a punch, but oh, here it is. I think I can fit this on here. So for this one, you're going to just stamp it. And then you'll just use your paper snips and cut around it if you want to make that one. And then the other thing you want to do is you want to create backing pieces, because what I did for this one, if I didn't do a backing piece, it would be completely white on the background. So this way it looks finished on the back side as well. So you could theoretically, if you wanted to, stamp another set. These aren't completely symmetrical though, the little ones. So I just used evergreen cardstock on the back just to back those up. And so I would just take a piece of Evening Evergreen and just go ahead and punch the pieces that you need for the back. And you're going to need the same number of pieces. So you're going to need 1 dark one, 1 big one, and then you're going to need 4 of the little ones. And for this piece, the way I did it is, where's my piece? I cut one out earlier. So for this one, I just put this with the stamp side down, and I use this as a template, and I just cut around here while it was holding that down, and then that created this piece. And you're gonna have, it's gonna come out like this, but you can flip it, this piece, to the back so it will line up. So I have a piece for that as well. So let's grab out my pieces that we'll need. Oh, and we're also gonna need some floral pieces. So I took a skinny strip of fresh freesia, and then I can fit it in here and punch these out along here like this. Because if you use a skinny strip, then it's very easy to kind of just keep going and keep punching. You're gonna have little pieces of extra cardstock coming out, but you're going to get these little pieces, and it makes the best use out of a piece of cardstock if you just feed a little skinny strip in that way. Okay, so let's gather all the pieces that we need to make these 2 cacti. So I've got this piece. We're going to need, let's move this out of the way so I don't get my fingers in it. We're going to need 4 of these, and we're going to need 4 of these, and then we're going to need that, and we're going to need 3 for up here, and we're going to need 2 for there. Okay, so now we can start assembling our cactus. And what we want to do is we're going to save the backing pieces for afterwards because we want to adhere those after we have the tab. So we're going to take this piece and take a little Tombow and just put it just down at the bottom. If you get a lot of adhesive on there, just scrape it off on some cardstock so you just put a little bit less on there. And I like to start off with one of these kind of coming off the side. Okay. And then I'll take my next one and it's going to come up. And then we'll take the next one. I love the look of this jointed cactus. And again, I got a little bit too much adhesive, so I'm just going to scrape a little off. Stick this one here. This will come together a little bit more solidly when you put the backing pieces on too. And then we've got one more coming off the side. Okay, so there's my little cacti. And then you can take these little pieces and add the little flowers on the top. I didn't punch backing pieces for the flowers because I punched them out of fresh freesia cardstock, so it's going to be fresh freesia on both sides. You could also stamp and then punch out these little flowers, but because there is a stamp for it, but for the flowers I've just decided it's just a lot easier just to punch them out right out of the cardstock and not do any stamping first. I just use colored cardstock. All right. Okay, so I will do the backing pieces for the top part of the cactus right away. So as you're doing it, just make sure before you glue something down that it looks like it's going to, it fits properly on there. So just stick this down. We'll do just the top part of the cactus. And I think some goes up here. Because these are not symmetrical, I just want to make sure that they're coming the right way. So I'll do all the top ones first. And just line those up. And then we've got one more right here. Just line it up like that. We'll save that last one. You stay down there. Press, press, press. We'll save this one for last. Okay. So you see I've got those ones backed up. And that's the front. And then we're going to take this piece and we're going to put adhesive on this tab right here, like that, and adhere this onto our little tab that's sticking out. And then we are going to cover that up so that it looks finished on the back. And I want to show you before I forget. Just line that up. Okay, so there's the finished piece. So when I did this one, I was experimenting. And so I put my finishing piece on first, but you can see how nice, much more, it looks so much better if you can put that last backing piece on after so you don't see that tab on the back, okay? So if you can remember to do it that way, then that will look really good. Okay, so for this one, you're just gonna come and you're gonna just add the 2 flowers. So this one's a little faster. Now I'm putting the adhesive right on the cactus, which might have been a better thing rather than putting it on the little spindly flower. Put it on the cactus, put a dab on the cactus and then add the flower. Makes more sense. Okay, and I've got another pot kind of set up for this one right here. Let's do this little slit again. Coming through. Okay, bend these down. And this one I've already got the ribbon around here, but I'll show you in a second how I did the ribbon and everything. So I'm just tucking in everything. Okay. And then I'm gonna gain this one. You can leave the tab right there, but you can see there's a little bit of cardstock peeking through. So if that bothers you, you can trim your tab down just a little bit for that one and just have a shorter tab. And then you can just add that right onto there. Okay. And then this is the backing. And then you can add that backing onto there just so it finishes off the back of the piece. So it looks nice from all sides. I got that. So let me show you how I did the little ribbon. So we don't have cinnamon cider ribbon right now. So, but we do have this pale papaya. And actually, pale papaya, if you don't want to color it, you could wrap this around. And pale papaya does not look bad around this at all. But if you want to make it match exactly to the base, then you can color it. So you can choose. I always like to give you options so that, you know, if you want to do coloring, if you don't want to do coloring, you don't have to. So I'm going to measure about 10 inches of ribbon. And I'm going to take, I want to remind myself to use the Wink of Stella. Don't let me forget. I want to show you something before I go to the end. So, take the cinnamon cider Stampin' Blends, and I'm using the light cinnamon cider, and I'm just brushing it along there. And I'm using a piece of cardstock to protect my work surface because this is an alcohol marker, and it is kind of permanent. Like on your surface, you don't want to be using this on something that you don't want marked up with the marker because it does like to stay on. It's kind of like a Sharpie marker. You can take it off sometimes with rubbing alcohol, but it's not 100% perfect. So always protect your work surface if you're using alcohol markers. Okay, so this piece, I'm gonna wrap around here. And do your first little knot. And hopefully my locking tweezers are here somewhere. Okay. These are so handy. And I'm just going to lock down, and then I'll do my second knot. Okay. And then you can cut this a little shorter. And if you're really good at tying ribbon with short lengths, you could have maybe made this like 1/2 inch shorter, the ribbon, if you wanted it to. So there's the little ribbon. And then I just took a little scrap piece of basic white cardstock. And this time I'm going to use cinnamon cider ink. By the way, cinnamon cider, if you like this color, and I really do because we don't really have another brown like it, it is retiring very soon. It's retiring at the end of April, but it could be out of stock and then they might not get it in again. So pretty soon this color is going to be gone. So make sure you pick it up if you like it. So I'm just cutting out hello freehand. It's a very small greeting, so I didn't want to use a punch or anything for it. I thought just cutting it out freehand, it would be pretty straight. I'm using, sorry, I put my Tombow off to the side. I'm just using a little bit of Tombow on the back and then just adding it onto there. Okay, so before I forgot, we need to use this Wink of Stella on my card. So I like to use it on the flowers, and I kind of like to use it once it's already on the cactus because it's easier to do when it's stuck onto something. So this Wink of Stella, basically, it's just like adding a little sparkle to your projects. It's kind of hard to see on camera, but I'll see if I can get the lighting just right afterwards to show you. It's going to be more noticeable to someone that is actually getting this in person rather than on camera. So that's the charm of the Wink of Stella. Okay. Let's see. Can you see the little sparkle on there? And here's one that I did before. You can kind of still, it dries and it's not quite as sparkly, but can you kind of, there we go. You can kind of see the sparkle. And so it catches the light kind of like in a shimmery sort of way. So this just like adds that little tiny bit of sparkle to the top of your project. And so I didn't show you how to make this one because basically by making this bigger one, I made this one because it's just the bottom piece and I just stuck a flower on the top. Okay, so there they all are. I don't know, which cactus do you like better? Do you like this jointed one or do you like this one? I think they're so cute. They're so different from most plants and they're just really sweet. And you won't be able to kill these ones, will you, right? So I'm coming back over to you. Hello, everyone. So get the Cactus Cuties bundle. I am making my thank you card for my January orders right now, and I'm using the Cactus Cuties bundle on that too. So I will show you how to make that card next week. It is a really sweet card as well, so it's definitely a bundle you'll want to pick up. I'm going to go back and look at your comments and see if you have any questions for me. While I'm live, please go ahead, or if you're watching this as a replay later, please ask a question. If I didn't make anything clear, I definitely want to be clear. Good morning, Kelly Lynn. So Brent, she asks, do you have any plans to make a cute holder from the watering can, flowering boots? It could make a cute shower favor. I don't have that bundle, Kelly Lynn, so I don't have any plans right now. I have bundles that I haven't used yet, so I'm working my way through, but I may eventually get it and do something with it. So showers, you know, there's so many different things that you can do with bridal showers right now. You don't necessarily have to do, you know, the boots theme. You can take something else. You know, it so depends on the bride these days. You know, we used to have such a cookie cutter way of doing weddings, like, because sometimes now brides really want, like, they want a Western theme, or so shower, yes, boots would be generic, but maybe think about the broader picture, and maybe think about what specifically for the bride, and maybe you can find something else too. Good morning, Bear Blue from Tennessee. Nice to see you. Good morning, Ellie and Birgit from Germany. Good morning, Deborah. Good morning, Amy. And Amy says she loves my 3D projects. You're so sweet. Good morning, Janine. Good morning, Karen. And don't worry if you're late. I'm often running late in the mornings. Karen says I always come up with the best ideas. Aw, thank you. Birgit says she loves the use of the embossing folder. Well, I'm glad you like it. I'm just using a small portion of that embossing folder, and you might find another embossing folder that makes it look like kind of the sand, but I thought that kind of worked well to kind of make it look like that. Potting soil is very granular, isn't it, in cacti? So I repotted my mom's agave plants while I was up in Canada visiting her in September. So I'm very familiar with the soil because I had my hands in it, and her agave plant, actually, this is a sweet story, but we have this agave plant, and my dad got this agave plant a long time ago, and he did not want to give up these agave plants when they moved, and they moved into this condo, and my dad was determined to keep this agave plant. This plant, we had two really, really big ones, and when they moved, they gave them to a hotel that is south of, in the Okanagan Valley where I grew up. And actually, I think they still have these big agave plants. So he drove these plants to this hotel, this inn, and because they have that kind of southwest feel, so they really were interested in the agave plants. So so those ones went over there, but my dad kept some of the smaller ones. And this agave had pups. That's what they call the smaller agave. And the agaves, they were just crowding out the bigger ones. So I took it and I repotted the little baby agaves, and I'll be happy to tell you that they're all doing well, even the ones where I didn't feel like I kind of got enough root mass, but they're all doing well. So now my mom has like the bigger agave and a bunch of baby agaves. So it's kind of neat, and kind of a tribute to my dad, who, I don't know, sometimes he loved these different things, and he nurtured and cared for them, and he loved taking care of things outside at our house and everything. So it's very sweet. And now I'm kind of all tearful. I hope when my mom watches this later, I don't make her cry, because she watches my videos now, so I've got to stop tearing up. Okay, moving right along. Okay. Ellie says, adding the backing to the cactus, that's what makes the pieces so professional. Thank you. Yes, I think you could do it without if you didn't want to be so detail oriented, but it does add a little bit of something to it. Good morning, Debbie. Good morning. Good morning, Nancy. Oh, she's watching on her work break. That's awesome. Good morning, Linda. She loves the sparkles. I do too. I always forget to put the sparkles on, but they're important. And AZ Wife said these would be cute as table favors at a ladies' event. Yes, like a tea. It would be. It would be something a little different, right? Good morning, Cindy. She's going to catch the replay. Great. And I asked whether or not which cactus you like better, and Linda said she liked the jointed one, and Birgit said she liked the jointed one too. So yeah, the jointed one's cool because we have the punch for it and we can just like punch out all the pieces. So it isn't as hard to make as it might seem without a punch, and the punch makes it faster. So you could punch a bunch of stamp and then punch up a bunch of those little pieces. Bear Blue says the cactus holders are so cute. And someone else said, Loving Creativity said she loves my channel. Well, thank you so much, guys. I so appreciate you watching. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. Give me a like. Give me a comment down below. Ask me a question. I'm always there to do that. And if you need the Cactus Cuties bundle, order with the host code that I have up above. And if you order at least $50, you're going to get rewarded from Stampin' Up! During February. You're going to get rewarded by me with a gift. And you can choose one of my tutorials. And this is one of the tutorials I have this month, the cute little Hershey's bee. All right, guys, I hope you have a great weekend. I will be back next week on Tuesday and Friday with a live for you. I always go live at 10 a.m. Eastern. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.